What do you think is the difference between being a netball player and an umpire, other than obviously, the physical differences? Like, what's happening in the mindset of a player and then the mindset of an umpire?
You watch different things as a player and as an umpire. So when you're playing, you're following the ball the whole time and you're only concerned of what happens at the ball. And obviously as a player, like, you can feel contacts happening and you might react more so than you actually should.
So explain that to me. If you were the umpire watching a player describe that to you,
Yes.
what would your answer be? Like, what do you think they'd be expecting you to do as an umpire, and what would your explanation be to them if you think that maybe it's not happening?
Well, as an umpire, you watch for intention in the body and whether, like, a rule is actually broken. And people always say netball is not a contact sport, but it is a contact sport, and you're allowed to contest these days. So just as long as you can see there was intent in their body movements, then that's where you call a rule, whereas I don't think a lot of players would understand that.
Yeah. And so now that you're qualified now, aren't you, as an umpire?
I'm a C badge umpire now.
Okay. Were you proud of that moment?
I was, yes.
What do you think other people appreciate about your work as players when you umpire on the court?
Certainly as a player, if I can see that an umpire is putting hard work into getting good positioning and getting making quick calls and thinking about their calls, there's a bit more respect on court for the umpires. Whereas, if you play in a sort of social competition where the old ladies waddle along the sidelines, it's it's infuriating as a player knowing that all these rules are broken, or obstruction. Even they can't make the right choice because they're out of position. It's really frustrating as a player.
So would you agree with the concept that an umpire is servicing the game of netball?
Oh, for sure. And that's probably what I find challenging about umpiring. You're constantly being made aware of how you're positioning and how you're calling, because you've got to stay on top of your game to provide a good experience for the players. And if you don't, then things can get out of hand, people can get injured, and the list sort of rolls on.